Today's video is going to be on how to build Kina. For those of you that voted on my community channel, it was a very close race. I think it was probably by like 3 or 4 votes. But we're going to talk about how we use her, as in her skills and what type of monsters to use with her. We're going to talk about her skill talent trees and where to prioritize her points first. If you like this video and like my content, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell dingy dingy thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Tip of the day. This is in regards to raids and ruptures. Once you have completed your weekly entries or your daily entry for the elite raids, you can do as many battle supports as you'd like. However, a key note, you want to make sure to do a battle support at least once a day. Once a day you get participation rewards. With the elite raids, it's tokens. And with Sunken Ruins and Discorded Sky Island, you get 20,000 gold. So 40,000 gold and some extra tokens to your raid shop. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. Alright, let's get to our girl Kina. As you see here, I'm going to refresh the screen right now just to show you that Kina literally pulled this off with like 2 votes. So the thing with Kina is a very reactive summoner. She's way better on manual than she is auto because the majority of her skills, it's more of like a reactive type of thing. The one thing to know about Kina, and this is with every single element with Kina, always start with your second skill first on any type of skill rotation you use. There's no real rotation with Kina because a lot of her skills just do different things. Orbia, for example, she needs a skill rotation to maximize the amount of damage she does. Kina's not the case. Let's go over each element. Dark Hammer is like your speed runner. She has a reflect damage buff on her second skill. Her third skill is a heal for your whole team. It can reset the reflect damage buff. It can also revive a monster on your team, but if it does, it takes some of her HP away. A lot of the Dark Hammer skills have like gimmicks to all your monsters if they're under 30% health. So that's something to think about when putting points into her skill tree, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. When your monster's under 30%, they get a decreased cooldown on their skills, and also Kina herself if she's under 30%. Dark Hammer is really the only type of damage build you can do with Kina. So if you really want to main Kina and want to do a damage build, then yeah, be my guest, but only do it on Dark. Her first skill can increase the skill cooldown of the enemy, but a key note with that, and really every first skill of each element, Kina has a very unique basic attack. Every single element has something different, where every attack of each element applies an energy. It can apply very fast, but it also falls off very fast. And as you can see with basic attacks, you will see it go up very fast. It goes up to a 6, but it falls off really fast. So if you're not doing the basic, it does fall off pretty quickly. Every first skill does something different, but for each first skill, if she has a buff over level 5, then she will have the chance to increase the skill cooldown or whatever this first skill does. So remember to hit basic attacks, and to guarantee them, you need precision. Just a mental note. The light staff is by far the best healing staff for Kina. She's mainly a single target healer, but she has heals all over the place. Like I said, you always want to start with the second skill with Kina. Her second skill on light applies a recovery received up on her whole team. It also does a heal based off the amount of damage she does. But she is a support. She will get targeted in PvP, so you don't want to build her strictly for damage. We build Kina tanky. Her third skill heals one single ally, also applies a heal over time. If your ally is low, it applies a second heal over time. Now with her first skill on light, if you got that energy buff over 5, it applies a heal over time to the lowest ally HP ratio. So technically, if you run somebody that has skill acceleration or skill cooldown, like Tion, Konamiya, Rakuni, Mav, you can use this multiple times before the heal over time falls off. At max level, the heal over time is every 10 seconds and the cooldown is only 6. and having a recovery received buff is huge. Now, light being like your healer staff, every staff heals, but light does the most healing. Kina is the fill to whatever you're missing in your team comp. So if you know what element does which, you can build specific monsters for your team comp that Kina does not bring. Wind Staff Kina is your buff stripper / cleanser. Always start with her second skill. It applies accuracy up to your whole team and removes one harmful effect. Her third skill removes a beneficial effect from everyone that she hits and applies resistance down, which helps your team apply debuffs, especially when you already have an accuracy up buff. The skill also heals your team and applies immunity if the team member is low. Her first skill applies electric shock. Now with water and fire, whatever you're missing on your team, like I said before, Kina fills that role. If you already have an attack buff from your monsters, you can bring in water. Water brings an attack speed buff. Always start with the second skill to get that attack speed up buff. Your third skill is a heal, and if your allies already have an attack speed up, this applies a crit rate up buff. It'll also refresh attack speed if the ally's low. And her first skill with the energy is a frostbite. Now if you need an attack buff, Kina, fire, staff. Her second skill, start with that always. It applies an attack buff and decreases the skill cooldown on team monsters, which I love fire. I mean, honestly, you can still bring an attack buff monster on your team when you use the fire staff. It'll just stack up attack buffs quicker. But this decreases the cooldowns of skill monsters, which is just huge. Her third skill is a heal, and if anybody is a low, it'll apply invincibility. That 30% mark on all her skills. And her first skill on fire is a burn. Of course, the other ones were electric shock and frostbite. For fire, it's burn. Now, as you saw, I didn't talk about ultimates. I wanted to save it for last. Her ultimates are very, very useful. And even better now that Com2uS added the auto ultimate use. This makes Kina even better, 100%. I'll go over them real quick. Now, a lot of revivers in this game can only revive one monster. Kina can revive all three as dark. For light staff, it removes all harmful effects from all allies, heals them for a certain amount, also applies a heal over time, and on a team member with the highest defense, applies a level 3 heal over time. Wind ultimate also cleanses all harmful effects and also applies immunity to your whole team, along with healing, of course. Again, water removes all harmful effects, which really, I'm just going to stop saying it because every element does except for dark. Heals all your allies and applies an attack speed and crit rate buff of level 5. It's pretty huge. Again, fire, remove all harmful effects, yes. Heals the allies, yes. This will apply a level 3 attack buff. So like I said, every single element is very crucial. When I talk about putting points into her skill tree, you'll see what I'm talking about. For Kina's stats, you really just build her tanky. The main stats to prioritize: defense, evasion, resistance, accuracy, and HP. You also need precision, but I feel like precision should be your last stat to kind of prioritize. Everybody starts with pretty high precision anyway, and really the only skill one for the precision basic attacks that you really want to make sure you land is for 1 light staff and 2 dark staff. You want them all to hit, but if they evade, that sucks. But that should be a very last stat to prioritize, because you just want her to survive. She's your support. I'm going to talk about what priorities to put skill points in first, because eventually you all max them out at a very long time, 2,000 books, something like that. But talking about skill books, don't spread them out through all 3 summoners. Yes, we want to level all 3 summoners, but you need to main 1, and that main is where all your skill books go into. You really do not want to spread these out. The first skills you want to prioritize are in utility section, and these are mental discipline, concentration, and because how good Kina ultimates are, we're going into luck. And honestly, it's actually really good now since Com2uS added the auto use function on every summoner. But these 3 skills first before anything else. Then go into your passive tree. You want to prioritize Earnest Prayer, Speed Boost, Holy Hammer, and Accuracy Enhance. After that, go into Belief. All these skills are continuous effects. They don't have a cooldown, so as long as they meet the needs of the effect, it will happen. Those skills should be prioritized first. Now, after you've prioritized those utility and passive skills, then you want to start putting points into your active skills. The safest and best way, like early mid-game, is putting skills up to level 7 on your skill 2. That should be first and foremost. For 1, yes, we always start with skill 2 for Kina. Kina. But level 7 in points will have the second skill buff be longer than all of the cooldowns for the second skill. As you can see, skill 7, 17 seconds of reflect damage. The obvious skill is 15 seconds. It's just a safe way to keep the buff up at all times. Now, for other skills though, get the third skill to about level 6, and then just start putting points into your ultimate. Save your basic attack for last, and really the only skill 1 that you want to put points into is for light. So that's why it's like a second to last priority. And for light, you need it to be skill 10 max to really do anything beneficial for you. The heal over time for the level 5 energy stack, it only lasts for 5 seconds. But level 10 light smash lasts for 10 seconds. And that's a lot of skill points. So it's better to prioritize the second, third, or the ultimate because you're going to get more out of those. Like I said, Kina is a support. She's supporting you. And when I mean a support, I mean a real support. Bring a tank like Light Golem, or Mav, or Teor. Once you have that tank in front of Kina, taking all the damage, then you can bring in your damage dealers like Fire Raven, our girl Naomi, Helia, Unowned Monster. Or you bring like a support, a tank, a damage dealer, or a support and 2 damage dealers. Or if you can get away with it, 3 damage dealers and just Kina. A lot of different things to think about when building a team comp. But just know that Kina is there to fill that role of whatever you're missing. That's it for today's video. I hope this helps you build Kina, prioritize what skills get points first, and how to use her overall and what monsters to build for her. I'll get to that Cleave video soon enough. If you like this video and like all my content, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell dingy dingy thing. I got a bonus video tomorrow, Saturday. It's already pre-recorded, uploaded, ready to go. It's just a very short thing. Just pushing out content for you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!